Welcome back to the Autry Benton Show. If you've listened to the radio in Horry County, you've listened to Coastal Carolina sports, you know this guy, my friend Joe Cass. Glad to have you today, buddy.
Audrey, it's great to be here. Thank you so much for the time. And really, this is kind of unique in that I'm the one usually asking the questions. So I'm interested to find out how it will be me answering some of the questions today in the hot seat.
I'm a little nervous, man. I mean, you're a pro at this. Like, man, I think I'm going to be for critique through this thing, man. So
I would never do that. I do not pass judgment, and you'll still collect the $200 for pass and go at the end of today.
That's good. Well, man, we really do get to ask you questions today. So, like, man, where did you grow up? And tell me about your early life.
Well, like half of Horry County, I grew up in the Northeast, come from New Jersey, but I've pretty much grown up my entire adult life here in coastal Carolina, on the coast of North and South Carolina, so the Carolina coast pretty much. As I said, grew up blue-collar, middle-class family, first to graduate from college as a kid. And
where'd you grow up at? Forgive me.
I grew up in central New Jersey.
Okay.
Some people in New Jersey, but like there's no such thing as central New Jersey. There's a north and the south. There is a central New Jersey. It's typically located between exit 6 and exit 10 on the New Jersey Turnpike. But yeah, grew up a small town, rural town. Ironically enough, the town that I grew up in, Helmetta, New Jersey, most people from New Jersey couldn't find it on a map.
Right.
It was a rural town with one blinking traffic light, a general store, and it used to serve as an old snuff factory, actually.
Really?
A snuff factory town, a mill town, founded by a brigadier general in the Confederate Army in the North, by the way.
Wow.
So there's a lot of history there. In the early 90s, regulations up in the Garden State pushed the mill into West Virginia, where they relocated in Wheeling. At one time, they were the largest producer and manufacturer of sweet snuff in the entire world.
That's the powder stuff.
That's the powder stuff.
That's the real deal McCoy.
And the funny thing is, once they moved the mill, it became dilapidated and kind of grew up in an empty mill town, like a lot of areas in the Carolinas, as you know, manufacturing moved overseas or elsewhere. And we would play and throw a lot of the leftover bags of snuff at each other when we were kids.
You never tried, did you, Jerry?
Oh, no. That was, from what I understand, actually women used to use sweet snuff more than men back in the day.
Don't you want to see it run down the road? Say, kiss me, baby.
I mean, I never even heard of such a thing.
Yeah.
But we'd throw the empty packets of snuff around as kids, and I think that's where I honed in on my pitching skills as I fell in love with the game of baseball at a very young age. My dad was an electrician. My mom was a waitress and then became an accountant, and kind of guided me through school there in New Jersey. It was a great town to grow up in. As I said, very small. Everyone kind of knew each other's name. So it kind of contradicts with most people think about growing up in New Jersey. You think New York City or maybe outside of Philadelphia. We're a small town, maybe 400 people. Now, we were only about 25 miles outside of Manhattan, take you an hour and a half to get there. But once you got to us, it was just a little slice of Americana, and it was
sounds
great.
like the American dream, man.
Yeah, I mean it was really. But my parents.
Did you enjoy growing up there, though?
Oh, there's no question. I mean, growing up in the neighborhood where kids were riding bikes, shooting hoops, and no matter what the season was, that's the sport you played as a kid, where you would run around the neighborhood and throw rocks at your friends' windows or knock on the door real early, and then everyone would come out, and you were outside until the streetlights came on. You went home for lunch and dinner, and if you weren't home at 6 o'clock, well, you starved for the night, and that was just the way it went growing up. Where I did and how I did up in New Jersey.
Yeah. So graduate high school. Tell me about. So you love baseball? Yeah,
love of baseball, and kind of always had a knack for broadcasting. As a kid, video games weren't what they were today. There was no internet, and you played Nintendo. You had Sega Genesis, and then I think PlayStation was probably the last game console that I ever got for Christmas. And one of the things that my mom always was taken back by was that we had one TV in the house. There were no TVs in the bedrooms, and you only got the TV when mom and dad weren't watching it. So you had few and far between when it came to time spending playing video games. I'd always play video games when I got the opportunity to. Loved the game, the Madden footballs and all that, and. She'd be fixing up dinner, or on a Saturday morning when Dad was working, and I'd be playing video games, and she was wondering who Joe was talking to in the living room, and she'd be like, "Who is he talking to?"
Yeah.
She'd come over and take a look, and I'd be broadcasting the game that I'd be playing on the video, and from there, she just kind of, was like, man, this guy might have a knack for it.
That's awesome, man.
And that kind of, was the first introduction unofficially, maybe to broadcasting. And then through high school, just never really thought much about it. Was focused on what most high school boys are focused on, sports, girls, studies every once in a while, usually a distant third.
Yeah. Very distant third.
Which then led me, of course, to community college, which was probably the best choice that I ever could make. I don't undervalue what a four-year university can provide to somebody, but in terms of the cost, getting some of the required coursework out of the way with no debt, to get the credits needed to then transfer to a four-year university. I think that was the best route for me. And if it wasn't for that route, probably would have never been straightened out in many different ways in terms of having a lot of need to mature in a whole bunch of different aspects of a young guy's life. And it was a couple of coaches that really pushed me to focus in on what my strengths were and to really work on some of the weaknesses.
So were you playing baseball at community college?
I did play at Brookdale Community College in Lincroft, New Jersey. And my first year, I want to say I probably had a 2.2 maybe GPA and was getting ready to fail on out of my first year. And that's when my coaches kind of sat down and said, man, you have some talent. You could probably do this at a bigger school if you just put your mind to it and really focused.
What positions?
Center field, batted leadoff. I'm a left-hander, so you're kind of at 5'9", 5'10", 180 pounds. You really just have a few different positions that you can play at that level. So center fielder, leadoff hitter. And then finally got my act together into my sophomore year, got my grades up, and then because of that, had some opportunities to play at a higher level and got an academic scholarship eventually.
Where to, man?
I played a small little college in northern New Jersey, right outside of New York City, called Caldwell College. And from there, I met some of my best friends that I still in contact with today who are doing great things all over the country. And that's what kind of helped push me to get a broadcasting journalism degree, and from there really never thought what was going to happen after that. And it just so happened that my grandparents had relocated and retired up the road in Southport and was looking to get into this line of work.
Yeah, let me bring you back to this. So like going from community college to a four-year college,
Sure.
Playing baseball, communications degree.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good deal. So like really focusing in on that or whatever. So like, how was that going to school and playing ball? Was it tough or no challenge? Or
I would say it would have been tougher maybe at a higher level right from the get-go. Okay. I was able to dip my toes in the water. The time management wasn't as stressful as it is now watching some of these Division I players come up, say at Coastal Carolina. I mean, that is your job day to day.
I wonder how they get school done sometimes, Joe. I mean,
well, they've got some support staff and resources that help with that.
It's a challenge, though, right?
There's no question. I mean, from the scheduling standpoint to the missed time in the classroom, but having a front row seat working with Coastal Carolina, there's no question that our athletes are going to class, getting the coursework done. But they do make the time. Traveling with the team, I get to see it first and foremost when they, front and center really, when they wake up every morning before they get to their duties on the baseball field, workouts in the gym, whatever it might be. They're in study hall for a good hour and a half.
They got to be very focused, though, wouldn't you say?
I mean, it takes a special discipline to be able to do that. But they also get to do something they enjoy. Yeah. These days, they might be making a little money doing what they're doing as a college athlete. So a little bit different maybe than the way I was growing up, and a different level. There's no question. So not to poke fun or undervalue what I experienced, but it was no doubt there was more space and time for you to be able to enjoy life outside of school, baseball, where you had more of a social life. Their social life, they don't have much of a social life where they're coming up, as a Division I athlete.
I always wanted to ask this question because I was an athlete like you, but you as a kid, very much you can tell you enjoyed baseball to the point that you went to community college, four-year college, but four-year degree college. Anyway, so playing baseball. So like when that's coming to an end, Joe, the love of the game, school, your last game, that had to be a whole thing. Tell me about that.
Well, you don't really put much thought into it while you're playing. Hey, I'll always have another day. I'll get another at bat, and then quickly, before you know it, you're coming into the final couple of games, final couple of at bats, and you realize you can't get back everything that you may have missed in terms of opportunities. And you always remember the things, and that's the way it is, I think, in life as well. You remember the things that you always came up short on, and the achievements are there. You enjoy when you're at the top, the few times that we're able to get there in life altogether.
Yeah.
But it's the things that oftentimes, not necessarily regrets, but lessons that you learn along the way to enjoy the moment because they pass so quickly. And those are the sorts of things that I took with me now, 20 years later. But at the time, wasn't thinking much about it. Really was thinking more or less at the fact that my junior year, we had an extremely successful season in college. And then moving into my senior year, we had thought that we were probably better than we were on paper the year prior, but we underachieved and we weren't as good. And that really stuck with me and still burns me a little bit, even today.
You want to do it better.
Could have been better.
Yeah.
I think there were some things, obviously some injuries and variables that pop up throughout any given season that just don't work out for one way or the other.
Gotcha.
That's why when you get to achieve those special moments, I think we overlook, and it's always let's go to the next one, and it's next season. It's a little different
Should
now.
be the joy in the journey, right?
And that's one of the things that you mentioned to say our coaching staff at Coastal Carolina. We're coming off a 2025 College World Series appearance, and they're like, "Hey, man, that was last year. That was July. This is February 2026. We're focused on the task at hand now. What was is great. We'll enjoy it 20 years from now. But right now, we've got business to take care of, and that's what's upcoming this spring."
I got you. So graduating, got a communications degree.
Sure.
And your parents are in Southport, right?
Yep. Parents and grandparents.
Tell us going into the career field.
Yeah, so once I graduated school, had a one-bedroom apartment just outside of New York City that I paid $850 a month for.
Ooh-wee.
Just outside of New York City, $850. That apartment right now is probably $3,500 a month. You just talk about prices and what they are today. Everyone knows that around here in Horry County and the way we've grown up. Like it or not, the wall's getting built, from my knowledge, here in Horry County in the near future. So the growth is coming, and that has pros and cons to it. But from there, just didn't really know what I was going to do. Had some encouraging professors who really thought that I had an opportunity to get into the broadcasting world, not knowing the broadcasting world, having been the first kid in my family to graduate from college. My parents didn't really know what to expect either. But one thing was for sure was that there were two things that they wanted me to do while I was in school. Given some of the scholarship money, some of the loan money I had to take out when they left my dorm room, my junior year of college, they put a note in my little sink in my kitchenette there that said 3.0 GPA equals no debt. Less than 3.0 GPA equals $15,000 debt, meaning that's the loan that they had to take out in the note, where they would front that for me if I achieved
you got some motivation.
my academic goals. So every morning when I brushed my teeth, no matter what I thought was going to come for that day, or if I didn't want to go to class, whatever it was, I looked at that big old number and said, man, for an 18-year-old kid, $10,000 is a lot of money.
Yes,
so,
sir.
I able to achieve that. And once I graduated, the other thing was, hey, you're going to go to school to earn a degree in some sort of field, you need to try and explore an option to get into that field. I want to say a good majority of kids these days get a college degree and then don't end up working in the industry or the field of study that they originally wanted to get into. So those were the two things that my parents really ingrained in me when I was coming up through college. So with the encouragement of some of my professors and the fact that I was going to get into New York City and jump on the major news networks right away as an on-air personality, was to go to a smaller market, and it just so happened that at the time, and this was 2006, I guess, that Wilmington, North Carolina, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina were the two areas where my family was relocating to, in between there and Southport. And from there, I just started to put out all these different resumes and things, and within a couple of weeks, got a kind of part-time job, was helping fix my parents' house up that they had bought here in the area. And then once that renovation was done, I'm like, all right, now it's time to go to a real job. And just kind of put my resume out and landed on a spot up in Wilmington at 93.7 and 106.3, the Big Talker FM. I was doing news, weather, and traffic in the mornings for a show that's similar to the one I do today here on Hot Talk 99.5. And from there, just kind of progressed over the last 2 decades to what I'm doing now.
Well, you stayed there a good while, didn't you, Joe?
Yeah, so 16 years. I was at the Big Talker and started to get into sports broadcasting with UNC Wilmington. And was doing a number of different things, kind of side hustles and making a little bit of money. I was still single at the time, so the world was my oyster, and really enjoyed getting ingrained in the Carolina culture, even though there's some differences. Hard to believe, from Wilmington, North Carolina to Myrtle Beach.
Did your at the Big Talker, did your show evolve? Did you have a morning talk show then, or did it evolve? Tell me about that.
It did over the years, and there were two people who hosted the show before I got an opportunity to kind of take over as my own entity, and they helped kind of lay the landscape for me in terms of what I needed to do, the research I had to put in, the connections that I was able to make around town, from our elected officials to the school board to business owners in the area, to really get entrenched in what the region was all about. And that's one of the things that I think was so great about up in Wilmington and down here in Myrtle Beach, is that we are focused on local and statewide news and information and conversation with nonprofit groups and people who are doing great things in our area. We want to showcase and tell their stories. Our Freedom Friday Salute to Service segment, which is how I met you.
Yeah, we're going to get there.
Yeah.
We're going to get there. So how did you get from Wilmington to Myrtle Beach?
Well, I mean, we are the golf capital of the world.
There you go, so golf.
Just so happens that I was playing some golf with a friend down here at Myrtle Beach National, and we got paired. We were a twosome, got paired with some people who were working at Coastal Carolina at the time, and we got to talking, and by the 18th hole, when we shook hands, they kind of knew about me, and they said, hey, if anything pops up in the future, we'll keep your name in mind, and we'll give you a call if something pops up. And like 6 weeks later, got a call, and there were some interest in doing some part-time work with them to start, and that was 2015. And from there, was still working at the Big Talker full-time, doing their news talk radio, and then got involved with the football broadcasts over at Coastal.
Coastal Carolina. Yeah. Wow.
Just as they were starting to make a jump from the FCS to the FBS level, before they became a member of the Sun Belt Conference when they were in the old Big South. So it was a lot of growth going on campus, a lot of growth within their athletic program. And then after a year of doing that, following the football season, one of the people working above me went out and sought a new job, and got the job, and then there was a gap to fill, and I filled in there, and the rest is history.
So today you are the voice of football and baseball, right?
So for football, I work the sidelines right now during the radio broadcast, which is a lot of fun. And
you get to see the action, man.
Right up front, and I'm telling you, objects are bigger than they appear in the mirror when those boys are running at you on the sideline. And then do the play-by-play full-time with the baseball program.
And we're rolling into baseball season, and so you're traveling a lot.
Yeah, this is the time of year. This is where the money's made, literally and figuratively. So about 4.5 months of the baseball season starts mid-February. Hopefully, we'll roll through the middle of June again with another trip to Omaha, Nebraska. Which, if you're a baseball fan and you follow, whether it be college or the pros, if you enjoy the game, a trip to Omaha, it has to be on the bucket list. I mean, that was the year prior. I had taken my family to Disney World for summer vacation. I'll never do that again. Still paying that off, by the way.
Never say never.
But we did a little road trip around Florida and went to Disney World with a stop, and they enjoyed it. We had a great time with the family. And then we went
Tell us about your family real quick. You're married now?
Yeah, I'm married. My wife, Tanya, she's a great woman, puts up with me day to day, deals with the travel schedule. And my 8-year-old daughter, Sophia, is sweet, but can also pack a punch. As I just got a text message before I jumped on with you to have to make a call after this. She had off today from school, so I tried to work through that. Mom works from home, and I've got a few things going on with work. But so after Florida, then a year later, we get to go to Omaha. And as we enjoyed that experience, and they had the opportunity to come with me for the entire 2 weeks we were there. And I just had told them at dinner one night, I said, you all went to Disney World last year. I said, this is Dad's Disney World, because it was exactly that. I mean, it was an incredible, I would say, once in a lifetime experience. It might not be. You never know if you're going to get back. But that place, in terms of a baseball town, colleges and fans from all over the country. A lot of bigger schools are there, so they've got bigger fan bases. I mean, that was one of the more exciting experiences that I've been able to enjoy personally, and then, of course, professionally.
That's awesome. So at the same time, you have a morning talk show that pairs with your job as CCU Sports, correct? So tell us about the talk show.
Multiple appearances, by the way, from Autry Benton.
He's been very kind.
The Hot Talk Morning Show, 99.5 FM, WRNN, from 6 to 10 a.m. And I'm sure that many of your viewers are familiar with the station, familiar with the programming. And Hot Talk 99.5 has been around for 30 years.
Yeah.
And anytime someone will text or call into the show, good, bad, and different. And we really encourage people to engage in the conversation, whether you agree with what we're saying or talking about or not. So long as we're respectful of one another, I think vigorous debate is the only way.
That's how we make America better.
Only way to open people's minds, really, and maybe see something in a different light. It might not change your opinion per se, but it'll spur more conversation. With more conversation and debate, to me, this place is better off as a country, as a county, and as a city.
Can I brag on you a minute, Joe? What I really like about your show is you are local. You talk about local issues. You talk about issues in South Carolina, and we need to know what's going on in our nation. But I like to say it this way: if we want to make our area better, get involved locally, know what's going on, because it affects us the most. Can you tell us your thoughts on that and just why you're so heavily local?
I mean, that was the mission from day one, and that's what made this station great from the get-go. From the Steve Porters who opened up on the Hot Talk Morning Show back in the day, 30 years ago, up through Dave Priest, who I shared the airwaves with for a number of years. Couldn't be a nicer guy. Unfortunately, he went through some health issues, and Dave helped carry that station for a lot of years and helped keep that station on the map. And then I got the opportunity given to me and earned in a lot of ways to help kind of drive the ship into this next version of what the Hot Talk Morning Show is about 2 years ago or so. And that was the focus. Obviously, we're going to have our own little twists and quirks in there in terms of the way we do things as compared to the way it was once done, which some people enjoy. Other people, like it just as it was. But everything changes in the world.
Life changes, brother. And
we've changed, I think, for the better as we've gotten more comfortable. Our listeners have gotten more familiar with who we are and what we're all about. My producer, DJ Slide, he's been around the Carolinas.
Tell us about DJ Slide real quick. Tell us some good information.
DJ Slide is originally from Atkinson, North Carolina. He's been a professional disc jockey from New Bern, North Carolina, down through Myrtle Beach, and pretty much anywhere in the Southeast for like 40 years. And he's the guy who walks and toes the company line. So when I may break off and go on a detour in terms of where the corporate people might be at, Slide's always the person during the commercial break that gets me back and check it in line and says, "Hey man, I want this job tomorrow. So if you don't mind, let's try and keep it to where I'm not going to be getting an email and a call from the principal's office."
One of your lines you say on the air a lot, you're going to have to say it for us, was Peter Ory. Tell us your line. Tell us your tagline here.
Oh, the Independent Republic of Brigadier General Peter Ory County. Just trying to play to the history, and that's one thing that I enjoy most. I love studying history. Obviously, coming from a different part of the country, you learn different things about history, and if you're going to be well informed about the area, particularly if you're going to be speaking and trying to entertain and inform people who have been here and generationally have been here way before I have, you need to have a little insight and have a little fun with the history of our area.
Talking about insight, so we're almost 2 months into 2026. So what in Ory County, what's some things that's on our people's mind? I mean, you're entrenched, and you know this, man. I'm curious to know.
Well, there's no question. Let's just start in the city of Myrtle Beach. New mayor, obviously, after 8 years, you had a shakeup with the city council with Dr. Phil Render now serving on council as he once did several years ago. You've got the ongoing development efforts in downtown Myrtle Beach, which has been a huge issue. You've got conversations about maybe even splitting up the city into districts in terms of voting districts, the way they do it up in North Myrtle Beach. So I think in Myrtle Beach, watching how some of those campaign promises come to fruition or don't, as you move through this cycle over the next calendar year. And within the county, there's always something going on with the county, and it's very interesting to see how they're making decisions. As we roll through the first few months, it's kind of been slow out of the gates in terms of big time news. I know there's a lot of conversation surrounding the expansion of the landfill over there on Highway 90. You've got just in regards to the county council, a very interesting makeup. Recently, a decision made to renovate an old assisted living facility on Highway 707 that will turn in now to a psychiatric hospital, a short term, which drew out a lot of
strong
concerns.
opinions.
There's no question. I mean, when the county council meeting room is packed to the gill, that people are interested in, and are wanting to share their thoughts. And for some, a lot of the residents were a little upset that county council ended up voting through a split vote to approve that hospital. And that's the thing, right? In society, it seems like we can identify a lot of needs and resources, and where those resources need to meet those needs.
Just don't want them in our neighborhood.
Not in my backyard, this country, and it's just maybe natural that the NIMBY acronym, not in my backyard. So there's no doubt a need. Everyone would agree. We need more mental health resources due to our mental health issues that we have all across our country. But do you want a psychiatric hospital next to you? And I think the developer and the company that wants to come in there, they met the county council in the middle. However, I think it was Tyler Servant who serves in that district. He voted against it, and his rest of his council, at least the majority of that council, voted in favor of it. So it's interesting to watch how that relationship, and the dichotomy works amongst a multiple member council and where people land on a given issue.
Quickly running out of time. I need more time with you, Joe. You got to come. I'm going to tell you, you got to come back because we got a lot more to cover. Two things I want to hit you about right real quick. You span into South Carolina governor's race. Do you find there are people who are interested in that in Horry County?
Oh, there's no question. This is going to be one of the more first time in 16 years there's been an open primary. So it's anyone's guess. The lieutenant governor just got a big endorsement from Governor Henry McMaster. Don't know if that's going to move the needle one way or the other. I think name recognition going to play a big role here.
They're all playing for the big guy, I believe, don't when you say?
Of course. Well, and the thought was that if Governor McMaster endorses somebody, maybe the Trump endorsement will follow. And we'll see if that comes or not. Right now, according to some of the polls, June primary, about 40% of our voters in South Carolina are still undecided. So it's a coin flip at this point as to where we'll end up. But we know the June primary all but likely will decide on the Republican side who becomes the next governor in November.
All right, so last question is, what can we expect from our baseball team this year?
Well, I mean, I don't want to put any more pressure on them that they already have. They're the 6th-ranked team moving into the season in the top 25 Division I baseball poll. If you enjoy baseball, you enjoy the game the way it's supposed to be played in terms of discipline, running the bases hard, defensive play. They'll play situational baseball at the plate. Go over to Springsbrook Stadium because there's no better venue in college baseball to go watch a game. So I'll go out on a limb and say we're making it a return trip to Omaha come June 2026.
Joe, tell the listeners one more time where they can find you in the morning and find you elsewhere.
Yeah, so Hot Talk 99.5 FM, WRNN.net. We're live from Monday through Friday, 6 to 10 a.m. You could also find us if you have a phone. We have a mobile app. Just search Hot Talk 99.5. And then you can follow me on all the social media channels. Usually you can find me at JoeCats19. That's JoeCats19.
Joe, thank you for joining us. Please come back.
Thanks for having me.
Friends, get involved. And if you want to make America better, get involved locally. Do your homework, get interested in what's going on, and follow. And follow this guy in the morning. You'll learn a lot, and go CCU baseball. Join us next time.